You on the phone?
Yeah, I'm here. Thanks, Kevin. I guess there's a question. When we were talking about the 25th Amendment resolution, and you asked if what happens if it gets there after he's gone. Is there any chance? Are you hearing that he might resign? Is there any reason to think that might happen?
I've had some few discussions. My gut tells me no. I'm seriously thinking of having that conversation with him tonight. I haven't talked to him in a couple days.
So that is Kevin McCarthy. Way back in January of last year in audio that was released just in the last day. And the video that you just saw right there came from Rachel Maddow's show. Now, this video is important not only for the content in that Liz Cheney and Kevin McCarthy are talking about the possibility of invoking or encouraging the invocation of the 25th Amendment, which would have removed Donald Trump from power. But the mere presence of the video is significant because it comes about after a fun little back and forth that we're gonna dive into it. Now, it started with reporting from the New York Times in stuff that's gonna be in a new book called This Will Not Pass, because we're in a time in American politics where everything important is sat on for a year and a half to eventually come out in a book. Anyway, they revealed that in the days after the January 6th attack on the Capitol building, the two top Republicans in Congress, that is Senator Mitch McConnell as well as Kevin McCarthy, told associates that they thought Trump was responsible for inciting the riot and vowed to drive him out of politics. Specifically, Mr. McCarthy was reported to have said that he was going to push Mr. Trump to resign immediately. Quote, "I've had it with this guy," he told a group of Republican leaders. Now, that was bombshell reporting. But at that point, all we had was the word of these journalists. And so Kevin McCarthy came out strong against it, putting out a statement calling the reporting totally false and wrong. His spokesman, Mark Bednar, denied that the Republican colleague told colleagues he would urge Mr. Trump to leave office. Quote, "Mr. McCarthy never said he'd call Trump to say he should resign." And it was like just a few hours after that the video came out. So here's a little bit of what was being referred to in the New York Times.
From what I know of him, I mean, you guys all know him too. Do you think he'd ever back away? But what I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna call him. This is what I think. No, it'll pass the House. I think there's a chance it'll pass the Senate even when he's gone. And I think there's a lot of different ramifications for that. Now, I haven't had a discussion with the Dems that if he did resign, would it not happen? Now, this is one personal fear I have. I do not want to get into any conversations about Pence pardoning anything like that. I mean, the only discussion I would have with him is that I think this will pass, and it would be my recommendation we should resign. I mean, that would be my take, but I don't think he would take it, but I don't know.
Okay, now just to be very clear, I see people in the chat saying, well, look, that doesn't mean that he actually had the conversation with Trump, which is true. But I want to go back to that last graphic. The spokesman didn't say, no, that's not true. He didn't talk to Trump about it. He said McCarthy never said he'd call Trump to say he should resign. And that is very, very highly specifically what is in that call. And McCarthy tried to deny that it happened. I guess he didn't know at that point that it had been recorded. So oops, they've got the receipts. And that is exactly what you said you were going to do. I have a lot more thoughts about this, but Brett, what do you make of it?
Specifically, so this exposes what the difference is between Republican go-alongs in front of the cameras versus behind the scenes. Behind the scenes, in front of the cameras, they're gonna go out and say like, listen, it isn't a big deal. Everybody is overreacting. The lamestream media is having a field day and they have no right to because they're all owned, bought, and sold by liberals. But behind the scenes, even Kevin McCarthy understands the gravity of this situation and the unprecedented nature of the insurrection that took place on January 6th. And when he's talking candidly with people behind the scenes, he understands, and his instinct is this is so bad that even in the environment we're in the toxic environment we're in, where Trump is completely lambasting and trying to eliminate the credibility of the media, even Kevin McCarthy thinks that it's a bridge too far and that Trump himself should resign in this situation.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And look, I know many people are going to be covering this because like people who might agree with us or be kind of on the spectrum are going to be like, yeah, look at, they got him. But like, I guess I'm kind of doing that, but it's also partially like, no, he was kind of in private doing the right thing. Now, he didn't end up doing it. He only had I guess the intestinal fortitude to imply that he would go against Trump for a couple of days. And then I guess they looked around, they thought, oh, our base is totally fine with this. There's enough conspiracy theories that are kicking up mud that Republicans don't know exactly what to think. So this is acceptable? Oh, okay. Well, then I guess I'm not gonna push for it. But in the moment, he actually had the right impulse that this is unacceptable. This is a bridge too far. And unfortunately, he turned around on it.
And that the Senate will vote to pass the impeachment resolution. So that is a that is a super majority for the most part of the Senate.
And it wouldn't happen, of course. That didn't actually happen. And in fact, in the 25th Amendment thing, even the House, only Kinzinger even ended up voting for it. But anyway, now really fast, you had seen when the reporting came out, Kevin McCarthy and his spokesperson were like, that's a lie, a dirty lie, fake news, how could you do it? Well, in response to the direct audio of him coming out, he did not immediately respond to a request for comment. So he didn't know exactly what to say. Now, a lot of people are wondering coming out of this, and by the way, we're gonna get to more of what was said by these different politicians in just one moment, but a lot of people are wondering, well, how are the Republicans going to respond to this? Are they going to try to take out Kevin McCarthy? It's interesting, they're starting to attack him a little bit. We'll get to something that Matt Gaetz said in a bit. But one thing I noticed was an article that was up on Fox News discussing this. And the article was, Kevin McCarthy rebuts New York Times reporting. Now, to be very clear, the article was published at like 8:30 Pacific time this morning, which is like close to noon Eastern time. Their reporting was entirely focused on the New York Times says he said this, but he rebuts it. This is hours and hours and hours and hours after the audio came out. That's not what the story is about anymore. It's no longer rebuttable. We can hear him say it, but the Fox News coverage sent the message to its fans that we don't know exactly. He's still saying he didn't say it. It felt like an oddly like a defensive move by Fox News to pretend that time had stood still before Rachel Maddow's show and there'd been no developments. Why else would you publish that article this morning, like 12 hours after the audio came out, Brett?
I mean, I think we all know the answer.
It's weird.
It's just there's so much faith on the right that they can insulate all their people from any fallout. And there's a difference between that and the left. Like the left is so disparate and at its own throats.
Yeah.
And the incentives are different, right? Like the right has always been content to throw inedible benefits to their base. The red meat on the right does not result in full bellies, because the red meat, the things you throw at your base on the left results in food on the table, better jobs, a safer environment, things that you can actually enjoy in the physical realm. On the right, the red meat, it's free for them. They're like, no, it's not a big deal. People are trying to make your kids transgender and all this ridiculousness, and then they pass bills that don't result in any of that. On the left, we're all over the place, but at the very least, it's not that same dynamic.
100%. Yeah, 100%. For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The Damage Report. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.